What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. I am your host, Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. You know I got another banger for you, so kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
Guys, it's no secret that there has been an abundance, an insurgence of millions of viewers and new fans injected into the WNBA, which has been around for a while, but has reached the peak right now of where they've ever seen their viewership, merchandise sales, nationally televised games, and fandomhood for each team, man. It's a great time. This is the best time to join the W. With the abundance of new fans, though, it has kind of changed the vibe of the league, where players are feeling attacked. They are under a bigger spotlight and microscope than ever. And we know, Caitlin Clark has a lot to do with a lot of fans that show up and watch these games, man, on the road, wherever she's playing. She's box office. But there are some toxic trolls out there that are just ruining it for everybody. And WNBA players have come out and spoken against the racist trolls, against the bigotry, against the misogyny. But there are specifically, some players are actually dialing in specifically on the Indiana Fever fan base. Brittney Griner, Alyssa Thomas, two players that have went up against the Indiana Fever and have been heavily criticized, have, called racial slurs allegedly. Players like Dejanay Carrington have received death threats. It's gotten out of control, but they are labeling all this on Indiana Fever fans, and I'm just not sure that's the entire case. Some of them maybe definitely trolls, but the majority, I wouldn't really say that.
It's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. We had her face on a serious matter that happened in this world, and it's unacceptable, honestly. And there's no place for it, and we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it. And basketball is headed in a great direction, but nah, we don't want fans that are going to degrade us and call us racial names. I mean, we already see what's happening in the world and what we have to deal with in that aspect. And we come to play basketball for our job, and it's fun, but we don't want to go to work every day and have social media blown up over things like that. It's uncalled for, and something needs to be done, whether it's, them checking their fans or this league checking. There's no time for it anymore.
Now, in response to those comments, the WNBA issued a statement saying the WNBA is a competitive league with some of the most elite athletes in the world. While we welcome a growing fan base, the WNBA will not tolerate racist, derogatory, or threatening comments made about players, teams, and anyone affiliated with the league. League security is actively monitoring threat-related activity and will work directly with teams and arenas to take appropriate measures to include involving law enforcement as necessary. Ray, what's your reaction?
And what stood out to me about what Alyssa Thomas said was basketball is heading in a great direction. And then there's a pause because, again, it's heartbreaking that in a time where our league is so exciting, the excitement around the league is at its highest, but the racial slurs and the derogatory comments and the online bullying are also at their worst.
It shouldn't take that long. It's not that hard to understand equality, to understand respect. Those are things that we should have learned as kids, honestly. No, I don't think it should take that long. Those are very basic things that like I said, we all should have learned from our parents growing up.
I was just talking about this. We're playing a game that we love, a game that takes us so many different places, brings us joy, and I think it's just not a place for hate.
some strong feelings there on both sides. AT more so specifically talking about the Indiana Fever fans. Brittney Griner talking about just, trolls in general, especially on social media. X is out of control. I mean, even some of the comments I see in my chats, some of the comments I see on X or on other social media outlets, it's absolutely bizarre. There's no way any athlete in the world should be subscribed to racism, should be exposed to racism, should be exposed to personal attacks, death threats. Like, we're getting way, way out of hand here. Leaking AI nudes and sending them to family members. Like, bro, it's got to calm down. That's ridiculous. I will continue to die on the hill that you do not have to degrade, or, dismiss any player to really elevate another one. You can like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. You can like Caitlin and Angel. You can like Sophia Cunningham and AT. Like, you don't have to pick and choose. I do agree, like, to a certain extent, like, of course, the Boston Celtics fans are wild. They're rowdy. Like, you're going to face some tough home crowds and get booed, and we've seen that, and I'm all for having a raucous environment, a tough atmosphere, an unfriendly home crowd. I'm all with that. But when the personal attacks, when the racism, when the sexism comes into place, I can't condone that, man. I'm not signing on to that. The thugs, all the criminals and all this talk, the racial undertones, I'm not with that, and I don't condone that. But to label an entire fan base like the Indiana Fever, who are a passionate fan base, a lot of them are newer fans. A lot of them may have not been fans last year even. There's a lot of new blood in the WNBA. Some of them don't understand the history of the league. And that was something that former ESPN analyst, FS1 analyst, Nick Wright actually spoke on.
You got this boatload of new fans because Caitlin Clark is box office, right? And the rest of the rookie class is very impressive. Caitlin Clark is box office. But unfortunately, and inevitably, and the league should have seen this train coming down the tracks, on that bandwagon were folks that weren't fans of basketball, that weren't even actual fans of Caitlin Clark. They were fans of what they thought Caitlin could represent, which was the humbling of black women. And you got this cavalcade of open, unabashed racists who tried to put a hood of Caitlin Clark fandom on, and on social internet and last night in person tried their best to terrorize her opposition. And while I have said I think it'd be better for everyone not to read their social media feeds, that's easier said than done. And Dejanay got a damn email from somebody saying, basically, hope you die.
I'm not here for the toxicity. And you do have to educate yourself. Do your due diligence to understand the league. And understand, the history and the players that have paved the way so the Caitlins and the Angels can run and get these endorsements and bring in these views and get these charter flights and all that they're doing. But AT and Brittney Griner and these other players that have expressed just disdain, have expressed how they've been attacked personally, expressed how they've had their character, their appearances called into question. Like, it's a lot. It's getting real heavy right now, man. And there is a toxic culture, I do agree, that kind of follows Caitlin Clark at times. There are fans that just want to see her, a white woman go out there and bust some tail. And you have the right to be proud of your race, your gender, and your nationality. I'm not here to denounce that. But racism, not cool, man. And I don't think that's a majority of Indiana Fever fans. I don't think that's a majority of Caitlin Clark fans. But there is a toxicity around here where if you foul her too hard, they're sending death threats to you. If you do something to Caitlin, you do not go against Caitlin Clark. She has an absolute cult. I mean, she is the basketball version of Taylor Swift with the fans. An absolute cult behind her that will attack you, that will drag you, that will expose you if you wrong Caitlyn in any way. And I think it's been unfair to some other players. I think some other players have been criminalized and demonized and just have these tags that are stuck on their jacket, man. I think the game is in a great place. I completely agree with all that. It's sad to hear what these players are going through, man. I'm going to be honest. It's really disheartening to hear. They're just showing up for their job, giving their best effort, and it's a great brand of basketball. I know a lot of people are saying they're not even going to watch the WNBA playoffs now that Caitlyn and Indiana Fever are out. And that's a shame because there's a lot of great storylines. There's a lot of great talent, great teams, and great basketball left to be played. But if you are a new fan of the W, man, definitely show some respect to the women, the athletes out there that are giving their all. The league has done its best to shoot themselves in the foot with marketing. They definitely have to keep Caitlyn out there, out front. Market your talent. Market the face of your league. But at the same time, spread the love, show the love, and continue to preach unity, man. And I think, like with that statement the WNBA released, they've done their due diligence, even though, hey, man, the commissioner kind of been on some BS. But we're going to leave that one alone. But I digress, man. I don't think it's the majority of the fans, but there are some toxic trolls out there that are ruining it for everybody. And it kind of stinks, man. But this does come with the territory as far as new fans, new eyes, a lot of new spectators tuning into the W, man. It's a good thing, it's a bad thing. But you kind of got to pick and choose your battles with that one. Y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments, though. Talk to me in the comments, holler at me. That's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment, share, like, all that good stuff. And follow us at Brandon Lee TV on social media to stay up with everything with the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Again, that's a wrap. Until next time, we out.